answer some of your business questions. Gene Marks is the head of the Marks Group and a columnist for the New York Times, and the author of the book, The Manufacturer's Book of Lists. And Angela Lee is the founder of 37 Angels, an angel network and angel education program. Great to see both of you guys. And the founder, I must say, also of 3 other businesses, right? So you are truly a serial entrepreneur, and you are a serial guest on this show. All right, let's go to...
And I like cereal, too.
The first question. This is about people who are willing to work for free.
There's a lot of great talent out there that's willing to work for really cheap, if not free most of the time. We're kind of conflicted internally because we do have some funding to pay them, but at the same time, they're still willing to work for free. Should we continue to go about this with them?
It seems like these people should be not be offering to work for free right now, right? He's got money to pay from. Let's not take the internship part of it. Let's take people who are giving services, who, you know, are older, more experienced, but are willing to do it for free.
Well, first of all, I mean, I spend my money on 2 things. My barber, that hasn't worked out very well, and my people, you know. I mean, I've always been a guy that overpays the people that work for me. I don't want people working for free for me, 1, because they have value, and 2, I want to make sure if they're really good, I want to make sure they're continuing to come back and helping me out and doing the work that they need to be doing. So even if somebody's offering to work for free, I want to make sure that they're getting compensated in some way. And I don't like it when people are thinking they're getting a deal on another person. That's not the way you run a successful.
Right. Obviously, there are legal implications when you don't pay someone also. But if someone's sort of giving you a service with the idea that maybe they'll get more later on, it's different.
I'm actually going to disagree a little bit and say I'm completely comfortable with it. Obviously, set expectations up front, and I think if someone does a good job, you can always pay them later. But I think that if they want maybe exposure, or they want to have you as a client so they can put it on their resume, whatever the case may be, so long as it's a win-win for both parties, it doesn't have to be monetary compensation. And as somebody who's bootstrapped, you know, lean startups, I think it's completely fine.
And I think Angela's point is really, she deals with startups, you know, all the time. So you're trying to save money as much as possible. And I just think of myself, I'm an existing business. So I'm not looking to get, like I said, get a deal on a person. I mean, I want to pay or overpay somebody if I really think they're doing the kind of job.
Right. And again, I really want to distinguish this from hiring someone like an intern for free, which is completely illegal. You have to pay people. They can't work for free. Okay. Let's move on now to a question from Zoli. He owns Chockable, an app store, and he asks, we create great educational software. How do we protect our patents from major corporations with deep pockets without spending thousands of dollars on patent lawyers? Can he?
So I would say in short that you can't, nor should you try. I think that the way that you're going to beat these big companies is by out-executing, by having phenomenal client relationships, whatever the case may be. Have an awesome company. That's how you're going to defend. If somebody really wants to steal your idea, and it's a huge corporation, they have longer timelines than you and deeper pockets, and so I wouldn't even come at it from that angle.
I can't even argue with a single word that you just said. That's 100%
Okay, but
right.
then this begs the question, should you get a patent in the first place? If you don't have enough money to defend it, should you get one?
Probably not, in my opinion. I mean, you know, the whole world of getting intellectual property is you got to pay for it. You really do. You have to have lawyers to defend it and make sure that it's constructed the right way. And even then, there's no guarantee that somebody's going to find a way around
it. But then is it worth something later on when you're ready for your exit and you want to sell to a big company who then does have the deep pockets?
I don't think so. I don't think people are buying patents. That's not the value of your company. I would say the only exception to this is if you're doing pharma, right? I think that's the only exception. But beyond that, that's not why they're going to one day acquire your company for $100 million.
Okay, let's move on to this other question. We have one from Aiton, and he is behind mobile shopping app Styler. He asks, with a mobile consumer services app, at what point should you start focusing on monetization? Gene?
Yeah, I just wrote about this in Entrepreneur Magazine about starting up companies and trying to, when do you start making money? And I've always just been a believer that you make money when the earliest possible point that you can start monetizing is when you monetize. I'm not a big believer of making the kinds of plans where you're holding off on getting revenue. I always think that the startup's biggest asset is customers. So when answering a question about monetizing, whether it's a mobile app or anything else like that, you know, sooner rather than later, now, even if it's on a test basis, customers and money are what's going to keep your company
going. Or maybe
going.
you have some sort of freemium model, right, where you give something for free and then charge for something more?
Yeah, completely agree. So I think in terms of focus, very early on, you want to immediately know how you're going to make money, and to Gene's point, test it. That being said, if you know, for example, that retailers are only going to pay for the subscription model once you have 50,000 users, you can wait to execute on the monetization, but you have to be thinking about it from the very beginning and testing if people will pay.
product. Okay, great. Well, great answers, you guys. Thank you for all the advice today. Really appreciate it. And if any of you have a question for the show, all you have to do is submit it to us. Just go to openforum.com/yourbusiness, and once you get there, hit the Ask the Show link. Or if it's easier for you, just send an email to yourbusiness@msnbc.com.